All right, I'm going to call our meeting to order. Welcome everybody to our special meeting regarding Acreage Community Park, and to our guests that are attending or watching on live on Facebook. And please join me with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Scarlett. I love that. All right, so hopefully this isn't going to be a long meeting. We're just here to discuss a couple of items for the park. And is Rob online now, or Rob is online? Okay. Yes. So are there any, well, first let's do a roll call. So I'm going to start with Jennifer Hager.
I am present.
Michael Johnson.
Present.
Joni Martin.
Yes, what are you going to call me?
I was going to call you Joni Hopkins. Tim Sayre.
Tim Sayre is here.
Okay, and then we've got Jay Foy. No. Frank Palin.
I'm here.
Burgess Hanson.
Present.
Rob Robinson.
Here.
Liz Ricci.
Here.
Hi there. Okay, so I don't have a lot to say other than things are moving along with the park. We've got afternoon thunderstorms that have started, so that's going to create a little bit of an impact on schedule, but hopefully not too much, and we'll have Rob speak to that. And I'll speak to the change order and that stuff when we get there. Do any other supervisors have anything to say?
Not at this time.
Okay, please use your hands if you have something to say. Seeing none, then can I have a motion to approve the agenda if there's no additions, deletions, or substitutions?
To approve the agenda.
Okay, motion made by Joni. Do I have a second?
Jennifer, I'll second.
Tim seconded. Okay, and I'm going to do a roll
Again,
call.
I want you to know that I can't hear you, so I'm reading the closed captions. Okay. I missed most of what you said.
Okay, so I'm going to do a roll call vote. We have a motion to approve the agenda with no changes. And so the roll call vote, Jennifer Hager.
Okay.
Michael Johnson.
Yes.
Tim Sayre.
Yes.
Joni Martin.
Yes.
And Betty Argue is a yay as well. And I'm sorry, I forgot to include myself in the roll call. And so with that, on to the regular agenda. We have 3 items, and actually the third item, I forgot. The third item we don't have to address today because we don't have what we need. So that's going to be, hopefully we'll have it for next week, and then that will be the last of these special meetings that we need to have to keep the project moving in a timely fashion. So change order number 2 is the board, you'll recall, approved at a previous meeting change order number 2 up to a maximum of $40,000. And if you could just scroll back a little bit, Scarlett. The change order ended up being $1,770.21 more than what was approved that was, we didn't properly account for the bond amount for that additional change order. So that's why that amount is higher than the 40,000 that we had calculated previously. So I don't know if Rob has anything to add to that.
You pretty much summed it up, Madam President. There was one additional item on there, which was the asphalt testing through Ranger, which was $643, if I believe. Please don't quote me on that. It was, it's in the backup material. That wasn't on it at the time, and that needed to be done as well.
Okay.
So with the 10% plus 2 for the bond, the amount was 41,000, and I can't read it right now, but the
Right.
what is listed on there.
Right. So that's that Ranger $635 where we decided that we needed to do core samplings. Right?
Yes, that is correct. The 635 plus markup.
Okay. So does anybody have any questions on that? Again, if you do, please put up your hand. And if we have any members of the public that would like to comment or have any questions, just raise your hand. Tim, Sarah, go ahead.
Now, what is the 10% markup for, Rob?
That was the provision in Lauren Jock Trucking's original contract. It would be a cost plus 10 for any subcontractor agreements, plus 2% for the
Yep.
bond.
I remember that now. Thank you.
Yeah. That's really because the contractor has to manage the subcontractors. It's pretty standard. Any other questions or comments? Okay, hearing none, seeing none, I will call for a motion to approve this change order amount in the amount of $41,770.21. That's change order number 2.
So I'll make the motion.
So Tim has moved. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Michael was actually there first, but Joni said it. So roll call vote, Jennifer Hager,
I'm good. Okay.
Tim Sayre,
Yes.
Joni Martin,
Yes.
Michael Johnson,
Yes.
and I'm a yes. Motion passes 5-0. The next item that we have on the agenda is the fence. And I'm going to turn this over to Liz Ricci to explain this whole thing.
So we received, what we did is we went out and we got a few quotes in order to run the fence along 140th for security purposes. The ranges of the fence quotes we got were from $54,969 to $73,136. We do have an internal estimate in there as well. So there is a total of 5 quotes, one of those being internally doing it. But after running the numbers for our staff hours to actually do the fence, that didn't end up being one of the lower quotes, but that is an option. So I know in your backup material, you all received all of the quotes. They are all very, very close as far as what the quotes are for. A few different companies did either a little less or a little bit more linear feet based on the sizes of their fences, their rolling doors that they'll be installing. But these are all the quotes you received.
Liz, where are the rolling gates going? Because my understanding, the entrance, the new park area, that's not a rolling gate possibility because of how that's designed at that entrance.
No, one of the rolling gates would actually be replacing the one from the first parking lot that is currently blocking off people from coming into the park. and the other one would be in the entrance of the park. So let me think how to describe where that would be. So
The one at Tangerine,
yeah, yes.
and we can fit a rolling gate there?
Rob, if you want to chime in, I believe so. That's what we were asked to quote it for, so I believe so.
The intention was to mimic the gates that we have up on the north end of the park. There is, with the way that it's set up, even with the curb, they put it up on the tracks within the gate. It'll clear the drop curb. And then the two swing gates are for the two that are on the north end connector, because those are have been damaged for quite some times, and they're just bent up. So while we're replacing everything, we would freshen up those two by 12 swing gates.
Wouldn't it make sense to, rather than doing a rolling gate there at Tangerine, to do a swing gate? Because my concern would be that you're going to have problems with the rolling part on the I mean, because that's not sitting on asphalt or anything, right? It's going to be on landscape, or no?
I would think that it would be up on a track and it wouldn't be rolling onto the landscape. It would be attached to the fence and it would roll onto that track that would be attached to the fence. So it wouldn't be rolling over grass.
Okay. And so there won't be a huge gap underneath that fence then to allow for the clearance of the curb?
Rob, do you know how high
There would be on that, but it would not be substantial enough for anybody to squeeze underneath.
Okay. That would be my only concern about those. So, and this is only along 140th, right? This isn't around the whole park.
Correct. This is only around down 140th.
All right. So any other questions from the board members? So your recommendation is to approve which one?
So Daniel's Fence Corp, it's all the same specs. You know, they responded extremely quickly, so I feel like they would, you know, be able to start as soon as we need them to. I know we're waiting for some things to be finished in the park before we can start, but I don't see a problem going with the $54,000 quote.
Okay. Tim Sayre?
Yeah, in the specs, I see that you listed 9-gauge wire, yet in the specs that Daniel's Fence provided is 8 or 6 gauge. If I remember right, 6 gauge is thicker than 9 gauge. Is that correct? Or am I wrong on that? Because if it's thicker, I'm good with his bid. If it's thinner, I'm not good with his bid because it's not as sturdy as what you asked for in the bid.
Rob, do you know the answer to that? Because I don't.
Yeah, the smaller the number, the thicker the gauge. You're correct.
That's what I thought. Okay, then I'm good with his bid. Thank you.
You're good with the Daniels Fence Corp?
I am, yes, because it's a thicker fence. I just needed to make sure that was correct. I know that's how it works with electrical wiring. But they didn't know with fencing. Thank you.
So, but it's lower because it's a lower gauge fence. So is it still the same quality as the other ones that were bid?
It's a thicker gauge. 6 is thicker than 9. It's heavier metal.
I thought, what was Daniel's? I thought it was 9.
No, the spec asks for 9. The bid is 6 or 8. If you look in his specs, he says that he'll be using 6-foot-high black chain link fence using 6-foot 8 or 6 gauge 2-inch mesh fabric. So his is actually a better quality metal or thickness.
Can you scroll up a little bit, Scarlett? Okay. All right. I just want to see. All right. And all the other ones, they were quoted on 9 gauge?
Some of them didn't list what gauge they were going to be using.
Okay. All right. So are there any other questions or comments from the board? From the public? Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Okay, so you're motioning to approve Daniel's Fence Corp at $54,969.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, motion
I'll
made
second.
by Michael Johnson, seconded by Tim Sayre. I'll do a roll call vote. Jennifer Hager. Do we
I'm
lose
good with
Jennifer?
that. Thank you. I know I'm having problems at my computer. Sorry.
I know. We're trying to get through this quickly. Joni Martin,
Yes.
Tim Sayre,
Yes.
Michael Johnson,
Yes.
and Betty Argue. I'm a yes. So that passes, motion passes 5-0. All right, and then the next item is the landscaping, which we were hoping to have a change order for you today, but we do not have it yet. They're still working out some maintenance items, and there was a scope of work that was written by Dan Sorrow. Is Dan on the line or no? Or yeah, no. So Dan Sorrow had written a scope of work that included the maintenance items for the landscaping, and some of that hasn't been addressed yet in the estimate of work. Do you have anything to add to that, Rob?
No, that's correct. We're trying to get the same contractor that did the irrigation. They also do a full service landscaping. They were a little tentative about doing the rest. They've been back on site with additional talks with Lauren Jock Trucking, and they have been talking with another landscaping contractor that's working up a price, and they're getting one more tomorrow from a local out of Loxahatchee. So they should have 3 of them here shortly.
Okay. So we expect to have a change order by next week, right? To have approved.
That is the goal. Yes, ma'am.
All right. Thank you, sir. All right. Are there any other questions? I see Tim Sayre has his hand up.
Do
Tim,
we
go ahead.
have any preliminary data on how much the next change order is going to be?
I don't think we do, because there was nothing, the scope of work was written, and it didn't, what they did get back didn't include the whole scope of work. So is that correct, Rob?
It was pretty much just for weed pulling and some mulch. Really didn't go into the full maintenance with the fertilization and everything that was outlined by Dan Sorrow in that scope.
But we'll have it next week, hopefully. As soon as we do have it, we'll be sending it out to the board members. Any other questions?
Just real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Because I can't, there's no hand for me to raise. I'll be reaching out to individual board members. A grant opportunity has come up for us to partner with Treasure Coast Regional Planning Council on a potential funding source to look at land use and some other planning exercises that could be instrumental, but I don't want to get into the details because it's technically not on the agenda tonight. So I don't want Frank to hit me through the screen, but I will be reaching out to you I've already talked to one or two of you already, but for those that have not, I'll be contacting you tomorrow. Thank you.
All right. Scarlett, what else is on the agenda?
For tonight,
Yeah, that's it, right?
just the meeting notice, which has them all listed.
Okay. All right. So if there's nothing else, then I guess we can have a motion to adjourn
Recess, I think.
or
To,
recess.
to next meeting, next.
No, I
date.
think each one of these meetings were individually noticed, so
Okay.
they're actually individual meetings.
Yes, ma'am.
Sorry. So a motion to adjourn.
I'll
Waiting
make
on
it.
Jennifer. Come on, Jennifer.
Okay,
I got
motion made by Jennifer,
I'll second.
seconded by Tim. Roll call vote, Jennifer,
Yes.
Tim,
Yes.
Joni,
Yes.
Michael,
Yes.
and I'm a yes as well. Have a good week, everybody. And thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks, staff.
Thank you. Bye.
Good night.
Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Night.
Good night, Board